Hey everyone, Mr. MC here. This is a guide for daily racing taking place at Brands Hatch with the Group 3 cars, and for this video, I'll be using the Peugeot RCZ Group 3. But first, let's take a look at the race details. So this is for daily racing, 13 lap race. We're only using the racing hard tires. BOP is on, tuning is disabled, fuel is a times 7, and tire wear is a times 15. So both are going to be quite a bit of an issue. But let's go ahead and get started with the lap guide. We're in the Peugeot RCZ Group 3 on racing hard tires. Bring yourself towards the left side of the track, and your first braking point is just after the 2 board on the left. So you're going to be at 100% braking power for a very short moment. Start to ease off of the brakes as you turn in, and as you approach apex, that's when you want to carefully get on the throttle to try to make sure that the RCZ is still planted. But then brake before you reach the Palmer Sport Bridge just up ahead. Brake hard for a short while. Slowly ease off of the brakes as you're turning in, and just carefully get on the throttle. Really easy to spin out over here. Then brake before the curb on the right. Use around 50% braking power, and the car will turn in nice and easy for you. Then bring yourself towards the right, brake before the 1 board, and you want to slowly ease on the brakes so the car doesn't act up on you. So slowly ease on the brakes, then as you turn in, start to ease off of the brakes, and as the new sector starts, that's when you want to start to slowly ease on the throttle. Then bring yourself towards the left side of the track, and this is where it gets a little tricky because what I like to do is I like to throw the car around this turn. So before the 1 board, as the new sector starts, use around 50% braking power. You can then shift down to 4th gear and the car will start to slide around. Start to ease on the throttle to get the car back under control. Then brake before you reach the red barrier on the left. You'll be at around 75% braking power for a short moment, and you're going to throw the car in for a slide as well. It's a little tricky, so it will take a little bit of practice to nail it down. Then brake before the 1 board, around 75% braking power once again. Do not touch the grass on the left, otherwise you're going to be sent to Narnia. Then brake before the 1 board, brake hard for a short moment. Slowly ease off of the brakes as you're turning in, and carefully get on the throttle so the car doesn't start to step out too much. Finally, brake before the 1 board or before you reach the path on the left. Brake hard for a short moment, and just take your time slowly easing off of the brakes and slowly introducing the throttle. Bring yourself towards the right, and that is it for the lap guide. Let's go ahead and take a look at the strategies. For this race, we are doing 13 laps at Brands Hatch with the Group 3 cars. Fuel is a times 7, tire wear is a times 15, and we only have the racing hard tires to work with, so yeah, both fuel and tire wear are going to be a bit of an issue this time around. There's going to be 2 ways to approach this race. There is the 1 stop where you do a tire change and refuel if you need to refuel at all. And then there's the 0 stop where you stay out all 13 laps and you do lots of fuel and tire management to try to survive the entire race. So we'll take a quick look at each one. The first one we'll take a look at is the 1 stop. So this is where I pit at the end of lap 7, switch to a new set of racing hard tires, and do some refueling. I am going to be doing some fuel saving, mainly by short shifting, so I'm going to be shifting at around 50 to 75% of the bar on the bottom of the screen being full. So there you go. So you see me doing a bit of short shifting here and there, just trying to save a little bit of fuel while trying not to lose too much pace. And you're going to want to be careful with your fuel and tire management, because if you're not careful on either things, both can become an issue really quickly, and you may end up having to refuel for much longer, which can potentially cost you a spot or 2. Or if you're being way too harsh on the car or on the tires, then your tire wear will be worse than other people, and you may end up having tire wear problems much earlier on. And this is especially the case if you're trying to do a no stop or zero stop, where tire wear is especially brutal with the ×15 tire wear. But we're going to end the first lap, and we're going to take a look at the fuel on the bottom right hand corner of the screen. To access this, you can press D left or D right on your D-pad to access the fuel mapping. And only one lap in, and we already used 11% of fuel, so yeah, fuel is a bit of an issue this time around. And once again, the main way to fuel save in this race is to do lots of short shifting, so shifting before the bar on the bottom of the screen fills up. But anyways, let's go over to the pit stop. We're going to pit at the end of lap 7 to get a new set of racing hard tires and to do some refueling. So let's go ahead and change tires. And before I go on, when you're refueling, you want to look for this little diamond. This little diamond tells you that if you continue your current driving pace or your current driving style, this is the amount of fuel that you need to be able to finish the race. If you start to push, you will need to refuel a bit past the diamond. So I just want to make that clear in case you wonder what the diamond is all about. But anyways, we did some refueling, we changed our tires, and my pit loss for this race was around 15.5 seconds. Because there is refueling, your pit loss may be longer or shorter depending on how much you have to refuel, if you have to refuel at all. But anyways, let's skip on over towards the end of the race. So after 13 laps and doing a one stop for tires and fuel, our time is going to be 19 minutes and 9 seconds. And this also includes the time that I was getting held up or if I made any mistakes. That's all added in to this 19 minutes and 9 seconds as well. But anyways, let's go ahead and take a look at the zero stop. So this is where you try to fuel save and do lots of tire wear management for all 13 laps. And you're basically trying to use around 7.6% of fuel per lap. This is not an easy thing to do, as you need to constantly manage your fuel usage, and you're mainly going to be short shifting. You're not really going to touch the fuel mapping. You're just going to monitor how much fuel you're using and adjust if you're using too much fuel or if you're saving a little too much. And you also need to be really careful about how you drive, because don't forget, the tire is a ×15. So if you start to slide around, you basically just did that 15 times, so that's going to destroy your tires. Yeah, this is not an easy thing to do. Once again, it is possible to do it, but if you're not careful enough, you can end up getting into some trouble really quickly, and unfortunately that ended up happening to me. So here we are at lap 9. I'm doing lots of short shifting at around 25% of the bar being full, and we're going to end up getting into a bit of trouble because we have worn rear tires and we ended up touching the grass and we ended up spinning out. And yeah, we just lost a boatload of time, hit the barrier, the car is damaged, and we also have a 1.5 second penalty to serve because we hit that barrier. And yeah, this strategy, once again, not that easy to pull off. It is possible to do it, but you really need to be careful about this, because even just a tiny little mistake, especially at an unforgiving track like Brands Hatch, and you can end up in trouble really quickly. And at the end of this race, this was at 19 minutes and 21 seconds. This also includes the time I was getting held up and the time I lost from spinning out. So once again, the zero stop, it is possible to pull off, but you need to be really careful with your fuel management and your tire wear management, because being even just a little too careless on one or the other can land you in some pretty deep trouble. Yeah, it's not that fun if you ask me. Personally, for me, the one stop is a much more sane option, a much safer option. So one stop, once again, tire change and refueling if you need to do any. And that's going to be it for this guide. So I'm going to go ahead and sign off now. Thank you guys for the support. Thank you to Playseat for supporting the channel as well. This is Mr. CA. Wish you a good race, and I'll see you in the next video.